Hello, it is fishbulbgeek, and we're back today with Karis, our soon-to-be Inquisitor. And before we go ahead and do anything else, it is kind of time to go and see if anyone else has something new to say. So it's been a while since we've actually had a chat, and we catch up. So let's just start out here with Cullen. Why not?
Did you need something?
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
You know what? Why not?
Why did you join the Order?
I could think of no better calling than to protect those in need. I used to beg the Templars at our local chantry to teach me. At first, they merely humored me. I must have shown promise, or at least a willingness to learn. The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. They agreed to send me for training. I was 13 when I left home.
13. It's still so young.
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to the Order at infancy. Still, I didn't take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Of course, but there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
Makes sense.
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
That's one way to look at your life.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
And that's fair.
You've lived in the Circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's howling, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
Do Templars and mages never speak to each other?
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the chant of transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. And I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing?
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given the filter, your first draft of lyrium and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Another time, then.
So, that's the truth about Templars. Get them at a young age. They're doing a not terrible thing. It obviously became warped over time where they decided, mages are just like pure evil and everything, but protecting mages is as important part of the Templar job as is protecting the people from the dangers of magic. And let's be honest, there are dangers with magic as well as helpfulness. So, oh, that, and they also just addict them to lyrium. Once you've got them addicted to that stuff, there's really not a lot that can happen. We've seen the dangers of lyrium. Look at Samson in Dragon Age 2. And look what, poor Cullen's going to go through.
Greetings.
I do like talking to Cassandra.
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
So
Fair
you
enough.
were the right hand to the divine.
To Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally reserved for Templars of the Knights Divine, but my circumstances were unusual.
Unusual how?
You don't know the story? Thank the Maker. I will tell you if you wish, but it isn't as exciting as some drum it up to be. The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My reward was becoming her right hand.
But what does a right hand do exactly?
What is your
Pretty
hand
sure it
capable
involves
of?
dragons and a
It gives,
assassination
it takes,
plot.
It beckons. It makes a fist. Liliana and I extended the Divine's reach beyond the Grand Cathedral. We went where she could not. After Beatrix, I was tired of the position and wanted to return to the Seekers. But Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
You thought she could really change things?
Justinian knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces arrayed against her were too strong. Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That's where the Inquisition comes in. It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
So we don't speak about Anthony, but we've literally just talked about that. That shouldn't even be an option. Yeah, that's a noble view. That is a noble view. I like that.
seem like they're
Cassandra's a woman of quiet and
My
strong
family
faith and
polluted it
piety.
for me. What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus I did not see Navarra, the real Navarra, until much later. By then I realized I knew it not at all.
I mean, in fairness, the Navarra you saw was just as real. You just didn't like it.
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortale Tarsi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
And Mortalitasi is
Your
fascinating.
uncle was a Mortalitasi?
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortale Tarsi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Nevarans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
I'll let you get back to work.
Yeah. So a little bit more about Cassandra. Do we have? Yes. All right. We'll speak to Krem first because I think he gives us missions.
What can I do for you?
Iron Bull said the chargers were at my disposal. Do you have any suggestions on how to use them?
Nothing jumps out at me. If I come up with any ideas, I'll let you know.
Oh, I guess maybe we don't get the first mission. Huh. I thought we had the first mission before we left Haven.
I'd like to know more about the Iron Bull.
The chief. First time I met him, he saved my life. I never thought I'd work for a Canary, but he grows on you. He's not like any commander I've ever worked for. That's for damn sure.
How's Iron Bull as a commander?
If you know what you're doing and hold up your end, he's easy. He doesn't accept any less. He keeps us alive, he leads from the front, and if you've an idea that'll win the fight, he listens. I've seen bands whose captains had to prove they were swinging the biggest sword. Bull isn't like that. The charges might give him more lip than you'd expect, but every one of us would lay down our lives for the big ass.
How did a Tevinter soldier wind up in a Kunari spy's mercenary company?
I wasn't a soldier at the time. I was in some trouble, trying to flee to Vinter. A tribune and his men caught me in a border town tavern. They meant to make an example of me. Bull killed them. Gave up his eye doing it. Patched me up and asked if I was looking for work. I've been putting up with his jokes ever since.
Oh, it's such a, it's a great relationship the two of them have.
That's how he lost the eye?
Yes. The guards had me on the tavern floor when Bull came inside and yelled for them to stop. One of them saw trouble coming and figured he'd finish me off. The guard had a flare. Bull put himself between me and the blow. Big-horned idiot. Didn't even know me.
Is it strange to work for a Kunari?
He hasn't tried to convert us to the Qun, if that's what you're asking. Bull's charges don't care who you light a candle for, so long as your shield stays up. If he hadn't told me he was Ben Hasroth, I'd have thought he'd left that life behind.
I didn't expect he'd tell you all that he was a spy.
Not the whole band, but those who've been around long enough to trust. He figures most of us would find out sooner or later, and it should come from him. Eyes to eye, he says. It's never messed up a job. He just writes letters back home. Lots of the boys write letters back home.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So, let's talk to the big man himself.
They've got good form. Cullen's putting his Templar training to good use.
Did Cullen tell you he was a Templar? He's not wearing the armor.
He didn't have to. Might not be a Templar shield, but it's a Templar holding it. He angles the shield just a bit down. Helps direct fire or acid away, so it doesn't spray right into your face. Kunari learned the same thing when we trained to fight Tevinter mages. Your Templar's doing good work.
You sound like you want to head down there and give the troops some pointers.
Nah, I'm no good at command unless I know who my guys are sleeping with and what they like to drink. The Inquisition's already too large for that. The Chargers are big enough for me. Biggest problem for the Inquisition right now isn't on the front line. It's at the top. You've got no leader, no Inquisitor.
The Inquisition has done all right so far without an Inquisitor.
That's because all we've needed so far is damage control, reaction. A group can handle that. Once you've sealed the breach, it's going to be time to make decisions. Someone's going to have to step up. Who knows? Maybe you sealed the breach. The Chantry gets off its ass and all those soldiers go home and get fat.
You think?
It could happen. It won't.
Don't worry, Bull. You're looking at the next Inquisitor, and I really hope I've got some better face paint. If not, I might just have to forgo that and wear either naked or just find something else that looks good, because it's a bit odd myself.
Thank you. Kindly.
What is that? Oh, just for the horses, I see. Actually, no. Look at buy. Is it literally just for the horses? I guess you could sell the horses if you wanted to, but why would you want to? Right.
The Inquisition scouts are getting...
Da 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 da. Blackwall. Yeah, grumpy
I've been
beardy
meaning
git.
to thank you. There are 100 things that need your attention. You didn't have to take the time to help me, and yet you did.
The Inquisition must do many things to gain support.
Of course, you would have considered every
But
angle,
slightly
every
approves.
advantage. I've never been more certain of my decision to join you.
There will be opportunities for us to do even more in the future.
Then I look forward to it.
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Yes, he must know a lot about them.
Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
The Blight's been over for 10 years. What do wardens do when the world's not ending?
There are still Darkspawn. Just because we killed so many in Ferelden doesn't mean they're gone. And the world is not so peaceful that there's no use for good men with swords. Sometimes you have to figure out for yourself what the pledge to protect others really means. It's not always about just archdemons and blights.
Where were you during the Blight?
I was in Ferelden, on my own, like always. Quietly killed my fair share of Darkspawn too.
You haven't had contact with other wardens for a while. Why were you on your own?
It's what I've always done. Recruitment only requires one man. Besides, I've always been a loner. Works best for everyone that way.
I mean, it's such a lie. If he'd been a warden during the Blight, he would not have just, like, run around quietly on his own. He would have gotten involved
So
to
have
try
no
and,
idea
you
where
know,
the rest of the
defeat
wardens
the
are?
archdemon. I mean, we all know
The Blight is
the
over.
truth about
You
Blackwall.
don't need an organized force. And orders don't change much from day to day. For the last 1,000 years or so, it's been just find Darkspawn, kill them, repeat as necessary.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need me.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time to bug him about, you know, not being who he says he is.
Trust in the Maker. Fire is her.
Ah, there's no run button. That's very frustrating. Still, who's next? I think we come across... nobody that way. Yeah, it's got to be. Let's go and catch up with Varric. We haven't spoken to him in a while.
Need something?
Do I have a personal question? Let's have a look.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
That's a polite way to put it. He's being far more generous than he needs to be on that one.
You from Ferelden? Orlais?
Free marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
You know what? There was a lot of trouble in Kirkwall, but
I'm not
by and
clear on
large,
your
I
line of
guess
work.
it
You're
wasn't
a
that bad.
merchant?
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
Occasionally I write books, but he's mostly known for writing the books.
You're an author? What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
Oh, I love that we got that little swords and shields bit out
Where
now.
did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. Funny story. I bought a salvaged ship and found her locked in a dragon bone reinforced chest in the hold. I broke 3 dozen lockpicks and blunted 9 saws opening that trunk, but it was worth it.
Nice story. Nice story. That's quite good.
Who is she named for?
I mean,
I can't
it's
tell
a
you.
story.
And the reason for that is...
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
All right. Have we actually spoken to Sarah yet? I feel like we must have at least once.
Chasing the Lord Seeker, I hear. Anyone who thinks they need Lord in front of the name, that's bad. Bet he's got a portrait taller than he is. I
That's your first clue to a total arse.
Oh no, what's boring. Yeah, tell me about yourself, Sarah.
Tell me about yourself.
What about me?
How about the basics? Where are you from?
Ferelden?
I got that from the accent. Where in Ferelden?
All over? Okay, fine. Denerim for a bit. South, north, wherever I want.
Oh, you're from wherever. I'm from North wherever.
What?
North wherever. Oh, we had fun on street and or in local tavern.
Oh, hardy ha. Oh, funny you. It's complicated. I don't like complicated. Let's leave it at that. Maybe.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it is a bit rude to start just pushing for answers
You're
immediately.
skilled. Who taught you how to use a bow?
No one.
That seems unlikely.
What? I picked it up here and there. Mostly it just makes sense. It's not like that for you.
Oh, certainly. Not a day's effort for the naturally gifted like us.
Well, it's not like that. It takes work. A bit. Not like Cullen and his pets. I mean, you miss, then you don't. Is it that hard to see when it's wrong?
Is it an elf thing?
Most I know couldn't find an arrow sitting on it. Right. Maybe I just make it look easy in shite company. Fact still is, no teacher. Where would I find one in alleyways anyway?
I don't want to ask that because it just strikes me as really ignorant and racist. I mean, we're going to because it's there.
Elves I've met.
Thanks, right? Or was that an insult? Suppose I could go barefoot in mine. Like that's soulless, right? Never be as good as we were. Well, who's we? I'm just fine.
There's a lot of tradition there. Should it just be thrown away?
Your great-grandfather's dead. Why aren't you dead? You're throwing away tradition.
That makes sense to you?
None of it does in the city. That's why I'm not like an elf.
We'll talk later.
If you say so.
I mean, bless, we do like Sarah a little bit, but she's very ignorant and stubborn and just determined not to be a traditionalist. Like, there's nothing wrong with, well, okay, there's inherently nothing wrong with her point of view, and there's nothing wrong with his point of view, but neither will unbend to see that really the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Although Solus doesn't get a special pass because of who and what he is. Because he's primarily a
I'd like to
dick.
know more about you, Solus.
Why?
You're an elven mage. Not from the Circle, not Dalish. You're an unknown element. I wouldn't trust my life to a blade before I'd tested its balance.
Nor would I. All right. What can I tell you?
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
Oh, he even slightly approves of that.
Or its
I guess
memory
that's
is
just common
reflected in
sense.
fate. Dream in ancient ruins, you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Caelan's forces.
I've heard the stories.
Mhm.
It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Caelan fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
I mean, both points of view had their validity. Logain was he tragic? He was kind of tragic because he was originally a hero of Ferelden, and then he well, can we blame it on head injuries? Where he didn't really go power mad. He went paranoid and fearful, and was convinced he knew better than everyone else. When he was wrong, and he should have listened to people, and he could have put some of that knowledge to better use. No, he was just a villain. But he had layers. And I guess he wasn't wrong about the plan was never going to work. Although maybe he could have mentioned that while they were in the planning stage to come up with a better one. That might have saved more lives, don't you think? Wouldn't have been nearly as dramatic. Right, there's nobody in there yet. I don't think I've got enough stuff to upgrade anything. Right, who have I got left to talk to? Leliana's out in the tent. We might have exhausted all our conversation with Leliana.
It seems Blackwall knows nothing about the disappearance of the Grey Wardens. It's a disappointment.
Oh yeah, what about that?
I am, however, glad that he is with us, even if he was not what I expected. He seems to be a good man, and his experience will be an asset to the Inquisition. As for the other Wardens, I suppose we will have to keep looking.
They called you the left hand of the Divine.
That they did? What of it?
Well, we learned about the right hand. Kind of.
What exactly does the left hand of the Divine do?
A Divine always has enemies, and Justinia had more than most. I protected her. I watched, had an ear to every door. I identified threats, and I dealt with them.
Why did Justinia have so many enemies?
There were many who felt she was unfit to be divine. She had a past, a worldly life. Unlike many, she wasn't given to the Chantry as a child. She chose it, and somehow that made her unworthy. And because they thought she was unworthy, they wished her harm.
Wait, so she chose the life and that made her unworthy. Shouldn't that make her more worthy than the people who had no choice? Like, that's a bit weird. I don't think I ever noticed that before.
You still haven't told me what you did exactly.
I handled difficult situations that couldn't be resolved through more delicate means.
Yes, you were her spy master and occasionally the blade in the dark that goes, Shiv, you're dead. Or at least some of your people are, if not that directly yourself. So I guess I can see why you want to be discreet about that.
What was she like?
A friend. A mentor. Like me, she had secrets, made mistakes. It made her human. I think her followers responded to that.
Oh, I don't know if I want to ask that.
How did you and Justinia
Seems
meet?
rude.
I met her a long time ago, before she became divine. Before she was Justinia. When I met her, she was Mother Dorothea.
We've met her
I was
too.
at my lowest.
That DLC.
Broken, lost. And she saved me. No, wait. She hates it when I say that. I saved myself. She just showed me it was possible.
Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she had a hand in saving you. I mean, you did most of the hard work yourself, but don't think you would have had a chance without her help.
Was there something more than friendship between you?
You're asking if we were lovers? Typical. I was devoted to her, therefore it must be romantic. Love is common. Love is simple. My bond with Justinia was something greater. She was a sister, a mother, a teacher. So to answer your question, yes, it was more than friendship.
I mean, your mind went there first, and it is a little bit silly that he would phrase it quite like that, but Yeah, it was rude, let's be honest, it was salacious.
We'll talk more later.
Right, so we've riled Liliana up. I don't think we've riled... Oh, no, I feel we were nicer to Cassandra. And... There you are, Vivienne.
Yes?
I mean, I respect Vivienne, but I don't like her.
Is there anything
She's
I can do to help
a
your
bit too
efforts
brash.
at restoring the circle?
After the circles fell, their libraries were plundered by scavengers. 1,000 years of recorded knowledge in the hands of bandits. It makes me sick to think of it. I've received news that some tomes have been located, if you are interested in righting this wrong.
I mean, I am interested because inherently that's knowledge is not a bad thing. Neither's history. There's only 3 to find. And, you know, like, we generally don't mind having a mage out with us, so that's not too bad. But that's just down there. I don't think I can unlock anything. Oh. Alright, Mother Giselle.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
Well, you know how these things go. At least, I hope someone does.
You laugh to bring a little light into the darkness. And I'm glad to see it. Too many see laughter as antithetical to the chant of light. They imagine Andraste as a grim warrior all her life, forgetting that she loved and was loved in return. I hope she found time for laughter during her trials, as I hope you do.
Didn't she rather famously have a husband and a lover? That it certainly implies she did a lot more than just be a grim warrior.
I thought I made it clear that I'm not the Herald of Andraste.
I understand. Whatever you believe, there remains a task to be done. If the faith of the people is nothing but a tool, then I beg you to use it well. We will all perish if you do not. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Ooh, do I want to ask that?
Is there anything I can do to help you or your people?
My healers would benefit from more supplies. We have run short of even common goods with so many wounded. If you could deliver this list and the items on it to Quartermaster Thren, she could get us what we need. It may not seem like much, but it would enable my healers to save many lives.
Actually, have I ever asked that before? Oh, Blood Lotus, right. Where do I find Blood Lotus? Oh, I think that's the one that's in swamps. I kind of do want to do that, actually.
Mother Giselle says we're losing fewer patients to fever thanks to your work. Good. The Maker is watching over us. All right.
I thought that was a question to me, and I'm like, that can't be true, I've only just got the mission. Wow, okay.
Please tell me if you find something.
I've already...
Hello? Can I help you with something?
You said
Did
that you
we
were
already
keeping
ask
some
this?
of the Tranquil safe?
Yes. The mages took some of them when my circle rebelled. The rest were forgotten. Most circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves. Can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
I'll speak with you later.
Travel safely.
Kind of get why they don't like being around the Tranquil, though. I mean, what a horrible way to like have in your face that you could be reduced to that at a Templar's whim. And that's just a crime.
Good day to you.
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Sir Griffith of Denerim, a most distinguished knight of the realm. He's defeated darkspawn, slain demons, chased down abominations. Just don't ask him about it over dinner. He spares no detail.
Greetings.
let's learn a little bit more about her.
We moved through similar circles in Norlay. I believe we actually met in Val Royaux. Leliana was quite an accomplished player of the game by then.
What exactly do you mean when you say the game?
He must know what the game
The game
means.
refers to the slow duels of influence among the noble and powerful of Orlais. It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but Orlesians are fond of playful touches.
Nah, we've got time to learn about the rest later. Okay, I think we've had enough chatting to everybody that I can think of that is actually interesting. So let's summon the War Council. It's been long enough. I think everything must be completed on the table. Set new missions and then decide what we're going to do next. Yes, there's something done. So, report ready. In honor to serve the Inquisition, improve the mettle of the Orlesian Chevaliers by doing the Maker's work. Oh yeah, that's right. We recruited him. So that's nice. Should we just get all of these? Oh god, that takes time. Actually, you know what? I didn't realise they took time. I thought they were all kind of like instantaneous. How wrong I was. Alright. Griffin mail. I hope that's cool. It should be. I got Griffin robes from something else that I think I gave to Solus that were nice. Except report. Okay, so Bog Unicorn. Completed that. Alright, so. Oh, on the Waking Sea. What's this one? Ah, the runes. Yeah, Almari runes and mountain passages outside Haven have finally given up more of their secrets, pointing to one of the larger islands off the northern coast of Ferelden. The island is quite large and covered in dense wilderness, so searching it will be an involved process. According to the runes, however, there should be some connection to the original disciples of Andraste and the Guardian of the Sacred Ashes. Guardian of the Sacred Ashes, what does that mean? I mean, both have their merits. If we show interest in the area, yes, others will follow. But then, that's being stealthy. But what's the better choice here? It doesn't really matter about time.
Let's see what we have.
I think that's the better choice, even though it takes longer. Right, who am I going to send? Ah, right. Oh, I should have looked at successor and leads first. Jean Gaspard. Move from Clay, Carolina, or Monette will almost certainly be the next Duchess of Leeds. As the struggle intensifies, Carolina has sent agents to cause a scandal, judging that Monette does not have the skill to avoid such snares. Monette has relied upon Mother Renette, her mentor in the Chancery, for advice upon how to strengthen her claim to the duchy, and the revered mother, in an attempt to protect Monette, has sent mercenaries to threaten Carolina's life. Well, Sod it.
All right.
That seems good enough to me. It does. And yeah, this is it. I mean, we're never really going to ride it. So, I'm not sure if that matters too much. What was this? Oh, that's just the right part. Okay, so that's fine. Oh. Helps if you go back and look at the missions. Because I think I have to unlock the mission.
Have you had any trouble with them?
Whispers.
Not at all. I will inform you if that changes.
Shall we? Okay, Redcliffe Castle and the mages who could close the breach are under the control of Magister Gero and Alexius, a Venatori cultist with an unhealthy interest in Adar and power to reorder time itself. He has kindly invited Adar to the castle alone to negotiate. It's an obvious trap that Liliana and her agents infiltrate the castle and remove the Venatori threat, while Alexius' attention is diverted. A dangerous game, but it's our best chance. And you know what? I think we'll start the mission with that one. So, start the next episode. So we haven't done much. We've just gone around getting to know people, which was a nice little break. And next time, acquired Griffin Mail. Let's actually have a look at the Griffin Mail, shall we? Be nice for somebody. It is. Does that actually? I mean, it's a little. I'm not convinced I like that for me. Rogue only, eh? Oh, he looks fairly good in it, actually. Yeah, Solison is in his Griffin robes. So come on, load it up. I want to see what she looks like. Oh no. For starters, we're never going to take her with us, so that's not a good choice. You know what? Does it have a space? It doesn't have space for that. So we'll give that to Varric. Although I quite like the card's coat on him because it's unique for dwarves. But that's better, so okay, we're fine. And alright. Oh, I suppose it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, so next time we're gonna come along and we're gonna start in Hushed Whispers, which will be fun. It's pretty good little story actually. I mean I like the Templar one as well, but I think I do genuinely think I prefer. I think it's just because Dorian's much more interesting and much more fun to be around. It makes it better. Plus the whole skipping time aspect. So next time we're gonna come back, jump straight into the War Council, and start this mission. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of chill out session that we've had. And next time we're gonna get straight into some action. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.